Sorry about that, you guys. My other video cut out. But yeah, what I was saying about Darren Waller, you know, we just traded for Darren Waller. The guy has been injured over the past 2 seasons. We're putting a lot of eggs in that basket, man. We're putting a lot of eggs in that basket. And you got to think this offense is going to be centered around him and Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's why they brought Darren Waller over here. So, I mean, that's another reason why I don't understand why you wouldn't draft a guy like Dalton Kincaid, especially with Darren Waller's injury history. I mean, he could just be plug and play, man, if Waller did get hurt. And honestly, we'll be lucky if we get 2 solid seasons out of Darren Waller, permitting he does stay healthy. Hopefully we are able to get 2 seasons out of him if we do extend him after this year. But man, from an offensive standpoint, I would have loved to have seen Waller and Dalton Kincaid out there, because honestly, I think that would have opened up the field for these smaller guys that we have. You know, these other guys that are very similar, just based on their attributes and just how they're built. You know, your Sheps, your Wan'Dale Robinsons, Paris Campbell, they're all built in the same way. And honestly, a lot of the guys that were in this first round when it came to wide receivers, they basically fall into the same mold. They're not much different than those guys. So, I mean, that's why I wasn't necessarily that big on taking them, and I was more stuck on taking a guy like Dalton Kincaid, because I just thought physically he was just more of a presence in an offense, and I thought he was able to do a lot of the things that a wide receiver could do just in a bigger athlete. And I don't know, man. I worry about us taking this corner. I just worry about us taking this corner. I hope he works out. You know, it's not like I'm coming out here and saying I want him to fail. It's just I don't know, man. It's very hit or miss when it comes to cornerbacks, man. Very hit or miss. And I just feel like you take a corner when they just stand out from the rest of the guys that are on the board, especially in the first round. Guys like, you know, Sauce Gardner, Jalen Ramsey, when you have a guy staring you right in the face that has a physical presence like those two, yeah, those are the guys you take without a shadow of a doubt. But I don't know, man. I think we could have made our cornerback group work. And me personally, when it comes to corners, I've always liked it when the Giants go out and they actually sign a corner. They get a guy that's actually been in the league for a few years, has some seasons under their belt, has seen just about everything under the sun that an offense can throw at them, and just based off experience, I always feel like they come out and they play much better. Instead of bringing in a rookie who's wet behind the ears, has never played in the league, doesn't know exactly what the NFL is going to throw at him, and you just don't know what they're going to turn into. So, I mean, that's the way I've always liked to approach cornerbacks. Me personally, when it comes to rooting for the New York Giants, I've always liked to go the veteran route. We've seen guys like that work out for us. Your James Bradberrys, Sam Madison back in the day when we pulled him from the Miami Dolphins. He was an integral part to that Super Bowl team. Like, I don't know. Corner is such a risky position, especially to take in the first round. So, I mean, when I see, in my eyes, better talent, you know, sitting there in that later part of the draft, and we take a shot on a corner, it just makes me very skeptical of the pick. Very skeptical of the pick. But believe me, man, I hope he works out. I'm just very nervous about it. Very nervous about it. But what else should I touch on? What are we going to do in the second round? I mean, I'm not too sure. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where Will Levis goes. I was kind of surprised Will Levis didn't get picked up by Tampa. Washington, I thought, would honestly take a shot on him. You've been hearing a lot of different reports when it comes to Will Levis and his personality, and maybe he wouldn't necessarily be the best fit in a locker room. I mean, I've heard that here and there. I don't know if it's necessarily true. Who knows? But I don't know. But second round's going to be interesting. I like Jonathan Mingo. I want us to add another piece to this offense, man, because I just don't think we have it. I just don't think we have the pieces right now that are going to be able to go out there and get the job done. We know what we have in Shep. We know what happens to Shep. We know what we're getting with Darius Slayton in his hands. And, you know, Wan'Dale Robinson, when is he coming back from his injury? And how good is he going to be when he comes back from that injury? That is a huge question, man. He showed a lot of potential when he was out there on the field, and it's a shame he got injured. But, man, we just don't know. We just don't know. We're just drafting a lot of guys that are just duplicates of each other when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, especially at the wide receiver position. So, I mean, I know a lot of Giants fans out there like Jonathan Mingo. I like Jonathan Mingo myself. Wasn't exactly the most productive player at Ole Miss, but, I mean, you never know. Guys turn into completely different, you know, athletes than what they're necessarily projected to be when they do get to this level. I mean, their body grows, they grow into their body, you know, and their talent really starts to emerge, and you see what they could actually, you know, turn into, you know, once they've actually, you know, fully matured. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'd like to see us take possibly another offensive lineman. Defensively, man, I know a lot of people out there that's so concerned with trying to match up with the Philadelphia Eagles, and maybe not so much the Cowboys, because the Cowboys don't necessarily have an offense like Philly has right now. I mean, Philly is just, they are so good. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball, especially after what's his face that they just drafted on that defensive line. They're going to put him next to Jordan Davis, and that is just going to be, I don't even want to think about that at this point in time. I mean, Jordan Davis is a handful within himself. The guy that's, what, 330 pounds, and is just a menacing presence right there on that defensive line. And then you talk about the guy that they just drafted at 8 yesterday, man. That is a lethal duo inside that defensive line for Philadelphia Eagles, man. I don't see anything that we could do. And I think A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, they're such elite talents, man, that, I mean, you can try to match up with them left and right, but, I mean, you're going to have to do a lot to actually compete with that team. That's just how I feel. I think Philly is just, they're just hands down the cream of the crop of the NFC. I know a lot of people talk about the 49ers, but, I mean, the 49ers, they have a good team. A lot of it centers around their running game. But, you know, to me, the 49ers, their defense that they have right now, you know, I think they've had better defenses in the past. Like when we beat them in the playoffs back in 2011, or what was it, 2011? I think when did they have Patrick Willis? I don't know if it was 2011 or 2007. I think it was 2011. Like when they had Patrick Willis and those guys, like that defense to me was a better 49ers defense than what they have right now. You know, I mean, I get why a lot of people like the Niners defense, but I mean, to me, it's nothing in comparison to that team and what they had back in the day. But, and you know, offensively, they're still trying to figure out exactly who their quarterback's gonna be. But Philly, man, Philly to me is just the top-notch team that you're gonna have a very hard time competing with. Not saying that we don't need to try to, you know, I mean, obviously that's the name of the game, is try to beat your opponents that you play, especially inside your own division. But if you're constantly just trying to match up with a team, you know, you're gonna find yourself in bigger issues than when you started. That's just my opinion. I don't know if you should actually go about it in that way at all. I don't think that's the smart way to approach things, man. You need to build the team the best way you think gets you to the top as quickly as possible. Quit trying to match somebody else and duplicate what somebody else has done, because, you know, everybody's got a different blueprint, man. Everybody's got a different blueprint. You just got to find your blueprint. But that's it for the video, you guys. That's all I wanted to talk about. You know, I wanted to come out here and make another video since my other video cut out. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Maybe I'll make another one after the next 2 rounds. We'll see what happens. Like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all later. And that's it. Y'all have a good day. Take care. Bye.